here on stage, the mayor of Copenhagen, the deputy mayor of Milan, the governor of Nairobi, who's back on stage again, and we heard him a few minutes ago, the mayor of Addis-Ababa, the deputy mayor of Montpellier, and last but not least, we will have the moderator of this session, Mr. Filippo Gavazzeni, who's the head of the Milan Urban Food Pact Secretariat. Now, because everyone is up and not settled yet, I have decided unilaterally to do this. We shall have a video just to get everybody settled. Ladies and gentlemen, let's settle. We will have a video which is going to show us how you are able to have the participation of communities and municipalities, and it is inspired by the Milan Pact, actually. So let's have the video to enable everyone settle such that our session can kick off.
We have connected cities around the world and millions of people who inhabit them. We have worked together to overcome challenges. We have shared our experiences to inspire each other. We have made our ideas the core of our actions. Our shared goal remains the same, making food systems more sustainable, fair, safe, nutritious, inclusive and climate friendly. We are ready to face future challenges, committed to leaving no one behind. Cities and territories are the beating heart of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact. They are striving to build inclusive climate action, sustainable urban development, social equity, poverty reduction and circular economy, able to optimise resources and reduce waste. These are issues concerning us all. It is only through shared commitments and efforts that we will achieve the Sustainable Development Goals. Our journey began in Milan in 2015. Following many months of preparation, the city was ready to host the Universal Expo on Feeding the Planet, Energy for Life, and to welcome mayors from over 100 cities worldwide, gathered to sign the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact.
3, 2, 1, sign!
The first ever international agreement on sustainable urban food systems was born. A document setting forth 37 recommended actions to inspire mayors and policymakers to tackle food-related challenges at the urban level.
The Milan Urban Food Policy Pact is more than an international declaration.
We, cities from all around the world, have agreed 5 years ago to develop local solutions for global issues.
We came together to sign the pact.
We have done a lot, but there is still a lot to be done.
Join us in our common effort to transform our food system.
We need to act now for our present and the generations to come. We owe this to our citizens and their well-being.
We owe this for the well-being of the planet, our home.
Together, we can achieve so much more.
Local solutions for global food issues.
We are the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact.
Thank you so much. It's good to have our attention back here, and I would want to recognize the presence of the various ministers, honorable ministers, excellencies. Thank you for your continued support and for your attention. Delegates from various countries and representatives of various international partners, thank you for continuing to stay with us, for staying with us for our children. You heard it at the end of the last panel. This is for them, and we're doing it for the future. And we cannot do it without the work of our local governments. They are crucial to the development of school meals, including innovation and experimentation with new approaches on food systems transformation. And at this point, I will then hand over to the moderator of this panel on localizing school meals and the new initiatives led by local governments, and that will be from the Secretariat of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact in Italy. I'm handing over to you. Have a wonderful session.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, welcome to this session, Localizing School Meals, a new initiative led by local governments. I'm Filippo Gavazzeni, head of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact Secretariat, and I'm delighted to be here with you and moderate this session. As you have seen from the introductory video, the Milan Pact is a thriving community of more than 270 mayors that committed to transforming the urban food system. From urban and peri-urban agriculture, from food aid, from markets and wholesale markets to food waste prevention. Mayors manage many levers, policies, and infrastructure to transform the food system. However, the most impactful one, because it enables mayors to achieve many objectives, it's the multiplier effect that Cristina Duarte mentioned yesterday, are school feeding programs. This is the reason why the majority of the city of the Milan Pact are managing these services for their local community. And today we have some most outstanding examples from all around the world about what cities are doing in school feeding. So let me introduce our prominent speaker today, starting from Ms. Anna Scavuzzo, Vice Mayor of Milan, in charge for food policy. His Excellency Sakaja Johnson, Governor of the city of Nairobi. Mr. Jakob, Mayor of Children and Youth of the city of Copenhagen. Zelalem Mulatu, Deputy Mayor and Head of the Education Bureau of the city of Addis-Ababa. And Ms. Massart, Deputy Mayor of Montpellier. I will immediately leave the floor to the Vice Mayor of Milan, Anna Scavuzzo, who will briefly introduce the journey of Milan and the way forward to a city-led initiative. Vice Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you, Filippo. Thank you, Filippo, and thank you very much for hosting cities in such an important event, and also to let us the chance to come in presence once again. I'm honored to be here to open this important session together with my colleagues, part of the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact community. And I would like to underline, first of all, as Filippo mentioned, and also in the video you had the chance to see, that we are a network of cities, led by a city, made up of cities, focus on food. And this is very important because in some way it's a sort of DNA for us. We work together, starting from our community, together with our community. And so social engagement, activity together with the different parts and stakeholders of our city is a sort of habits for us. And I think it's very important in this environment and sharing goals together with you to have the chance to underline the importance also of our key role in appointing the goal we are sharing. After 8 years, the Pact, as Filippo mentioned, counts more 270 mayors working together all over the world with their difference, but also with a lot of activity they can do together. And this network, I would like to mention once again, as an holistic approach, exactly as mayor should have. I am responsible for food policy in my city, but I'm also responsible for education. I work together with my colleagues inside my city, and I work with my colleagues also outside. And I think it's very important also because if you don't have an holistic approach, you can't but avoid failing your goals. Being a city, means that we manage first-hand variety of food system infrastructure. When you think of food meals, you think of schools, you think of teachers, you think of pupils, families, but also procurement, and everything is inside our cities, also canteens. And so starting from this responsibility, we have a sort of tradition in public school meals. First of all, Milan. I can also underline the importance of our history because we began in 1900 promoting access to school for all. I have the monument of the Mayor Mussi who started this tradition in our city. So we can be very important in the alliance between multi-level governments, and I think that we can sharing our experience and competence, making it more efficient pragmatically day by day. And so this is the reason why the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact decided to support and to join the school meal coalitions together with its network of cities. And we would like to develop from this appointment together a new initiative entirely dedicated to supporting local governments in starting or improving their local school meal programs. And I'm very proud to launch today the new initiative, Cities Fitting the Future, led by the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact for the next 3 years. I think that our goal, shared goal, should be to be responsible for guaranteeing that every child in our city has at least one healthy and nutritional meal on their plate every day. And I think that could be a very important goal, but we have to share this aim together. We need strong political commitment to succeed, and we can offer to you every pragmatical approach in our community. So we would like to create a group of school meals champion mayors that will help us to accelerate this initiative, sharing knowledge, best practices, and challenges. I think that could be a very good starting point altogether. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Vice Mayor, for taking the leadership on such a critical topic, and we will do our best. So let's now move to the city of Nairobi with the governor, Sakaja Johnson. You already anticipate something in the previous panel. I can remind all speakers to stay within 5 minutes. And my question to you, Governor, is about your, let's say, you're starting, you have started your school feeding program recently, and we would like to know more about how you are improving the quality of the school meals in your city. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I'm wearing my real hat. You know, in the earlier panel, I was talking on behalf of the national government, and I'm not a minister. So I'm governor of Nairobi. And before I was elected governor of Nairobi, I was a senator of Nairobi. When I was senator of Nairobi, during the COVID pandemic, a few of the schools within the city of Nairobi, which is a city of 5 million people, different income status, a few of the public schools in the informal settlements had bouts of vandalism. And so a lot of the furniture in the schools, the desks, had been stolen. And so I gathered a few friends together and got some donations and went to some schools to donate desks. When I went to donate desks in a few of the schools, and I remember the particular moment in one of the schools, normally you'd go and the children get excited. They've seen a leader, a political leader, and they want to dance with you and they shout your name. And you ask them, and that happens a lot in Africa, and you ask them, so what would you like me to give to you? Normally they would say, give us a football to play with, or we want a school bus, or even some sweets. But on this day, they said they wanted food. When a child tells you they want food, they need food. And as a parent, my heart sank. And I started getting interested in how do we get food to these children in Nairobi County. And so I did my research. I looked at legislation around the world, in the US, in different countries, and I tried to introduce legislation in the Senate of Kenya. It went through the Senate, but it didn't go through the National Assembly. And so I committed and said, if I get elected as governor of Nairobi, that would be the first program that I would implement. Fortunately, I got elected last August and immediately set up the institutional structure for school feeding. And so created a sector, made sure it has gone through the processes in terms of our budget process, committed a lot of funds. There was a lot of resistance. I was taken to court. People tried to say I'm performing a function that is not a function of my level of government. It's a function of a different level of government. I had to convince, players who had been benefiting from a system that is not designed to be efficient. Today, we are feeding 100,000 children every single day. When schools come back in January, 250,000 children in Nairobi will be receiving a hot meal every single day. What we've designed is a hub and spoke model, and we're working with implementing partners. We've built with our partners first the biggest kitchen on the continent of Africa that produces 60,000 plates per ton, 60,000 plates. And then, thank you. And in different parts of the city, I have 17 constituencies. Each of those constituencies will have a kitchen or have a kitchen that serves 10,000 meals. And so to get ownership of the community, those who are cooking for these children and who have been employed, I've employed 1,500 cooks and drivers, etc., because one kitchen then distributes food to the 10 other schools. It is the parents of these children. Today, if you come to Nairobi at 4 p.m. when the children are going back home, you will see children singing. You will see children celebrating. We give them 650 grams of a healthy, nutritious meal, and they don't finish their food. They take it back home. Because at home, their siblings, at home, sometimes their parents don't have food. In a country where people, there are elements of the society that struggle to put a meal on the table, today the stress levels of parents has gone down. Because whether or not they get a job during that day, or a gig, or an informal thing to do, they know at the back of their minds that at 4 cents, their child is getting a meal. So that is a program we have in Nairobi. I'm very happy and I'm glad to be here in Paris, because during the Africa Climate Summit, I was able to take Her Excellency, the Minister for State for Development, Chrysula, to one of the schools where we're feeding the children. And she was in a sea of 5,000 children dancing and singing. And the French government committed 1.4 million euros to add on to our program. It takes goodwill, but it takes, there's a cost to it. I would have put that money in other aspects of budget that are more politically, you'll get more points if you do it politically. We have put down 11 million euros annually. Part of it is to build the infrastructure. And we said we're doing green kitchens. We're using eco briquettes to cook. And 1.2 billion shillings, which is around, 90 million euros. 9 million euros is what we're using to subsidize the food. I think this is the best thing for us to do. We're securing the future. The outcomes of school feeding, I think we all know, but cities and local governments have the greater capacity to be the implementing agencies for feeding. We are nimbler. It's easier for us to make decisions. We're closer to the people. These are our citizens. These are our residents. I think there's a window of opportunity for the Schools Meal Coalition and for all our partners to focus more on local governments as implementing agencies. I think that is where we'll have a higher turnover. Thank you. Let me leave it at that.
Thank you.
One aspect I forgot to mention. I'm wearing 2 watches, not because I'm flashy. This watch is written tap to it. We're using technology. This is a technology that every child in Nairobi is wearing. When they come to school, it's an NFC device. We're able to check with the phone whether they're enrolled on the program, whether they ate the day before, and to have the data, because the background data is very important for our planning. And so we're embedding technology, but it gives us more than just technology. The children feel a sense of identity. And so they don't take it off, even when they go back home. Even during the weekends, they're still wearing these watches because now they believe that they belong to something bigger than themselves. And they believe in government again, that you can have a government and leaders who care about them. I think that must be one of the success indicators that we must put in school feeding. Happier people, smiles on our children, and a sense of identity for our...
I think, Filippo, that we have the first the champion mayors for our alliance and for cities fit in the future. Thank you.
Yeah, I took note that we have to be there around 4 o'clock, so it sounds like an official invitation. Okay. Thank you so much, Governor. This, well, I have nothing else to add. It's inspirational and very tangible at the same time, so thank you so much. Let's now move to the city of Copenhagen with the Mayor for Children and Youth, Mr. Jakob Næsager. I know that in your cities, you are being able to ensure healthy and nutritious food in schools with a great, let's say, role of your public procurement. So can you elaborate more about what you are doing on public procurement? Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. That is true. In Copenhagen, we have a political ambition to reach 90% organic in our public meals. Right now, we are at 87%. This has only been possible because we have the political goals influence the public procurement. Our buying strategy has, when making agreement with suppliers, focused on several aspects: reducing food waste, and we would like to reduce with 50% from 2021 to 2030. Reducing food waste by giving advanced notice regarding what we buy, minimizing packaging, and securing green transport. All this happens in collaboration with our suppliers. These are just some of the political ambitions that have been fulfilled with the procurement. We also buy according to season and ensure diversity in fruit and vegetables in the contract. An apple is not just an apple. We need many different kinds to secure our biodiversity. We also have a contract with a farmer delivering potatoes to the school meals. According to the contract, the farmer make a video on YouTube telling about how it is to be a farmer, how he grows potatoes in the fields, and how he grows them in a pot. The kid also receive a pot where they plant a potato, they bring it home, watch it grow, and they get soil on their hands. This has been a success as the kids have a better understanding of what it takes to produce the food, which they normally just buy from the supermarket. We'll keep on doing these kinds of contracts in other areas, such as legumes and dairy produce. We also educate kids how to cook meals in school. It is by the law that kids must attend cooking lessons once a week as a minimum 1 year during the school time when they are 11 to 12 years old. Public meal in Copenhagen cover 10% of the publications. This is possible to buy a school meal at all our 70 schools, but 20 of these are food schools. Here the kids enter the kitchen 1 full week and participate together with the kitchen staff to prepare meals to serve for the rest of the school. We found that many more eat a school meal when they are served at the food schools. To make sure that the food is tasty, we educate our kitchen staff. They learn how to cook more plant-based meals that are healthy and tasty and eaten by the children. Without the kitchen staff cooking delicious meals that are served and eaten every day by the kids, we would not have achieved our goals. Luckily, we have a fantastic kitchen staff, 1,100 people, and they are employed by the city. Once a year, we celebrate the kitchen staff, at dinner with a dinner party, and they get a trophy when they reach 90% organic and commit to keep on reaching it. To change, we have a good supplier supporting by the public, good public procurement with all political goals. We need kitchen staff cooking high quality, safe and nutritious school meals that are so tasty that the meals will be eaten by the children. My primary goal is to build the best city for children to grow up in. This includes that your children not being hungry. When the kids have full stomach at school, they'll be ready to learn. And Mrs. Deputy Mayor of Milan, you can count me and my staff support to the program City Feeding the Future.
Thank you so much. So we are happy to count on your support. You mentioned many aspects, starting from procurement, education, good food, jobs, organic, and many more. It's again the multiplier effect. Thank you. So let's now move to the city of Addis-Ababa, that in 2019 launched a pilot program that now has become systemic and involving now more than 500,000 students. So I would like to ask to Dr. Zelalem Mulatu, which is Deputy Mayor, Head of the Education Bureau, if you can tell us how you have been able to grow this program in your city and how this has positively impacted your community.
Thank you so much. I would like to thank the organizers for inviting our city to share our experience regarding how to localize the school feeding program. And we are also considered this event as, a great moment for us, is because it is a kind of reward for what we did so far, and also it serves as, a courage for our future endeavor. Therefore, we are really grateful for, having us here and for hosting us, and also take a good lesson from different plenaries what we had so far. As you heard of it, our city mayor spoke out yesterday. Our city is the premium city in the country, served as a political and economic capital of the nation. And also the city is served as the seat of the African Union, and also the hub of different diplomatic center. And we had hundreds of different embassies. And on the top of this, our city has a policy that restricted the rural-urban migration. So this and other factor has complicated the education system of our country. And we try to see how are you going to transform the education system of the city following the national political reforms. Then we carried out a very intensive and comprehensive study to elevate the problems that surround in the education system of our city. As a result of which, the study has founded 4 major areas of intervention. The first one is the school feeding, which is the subject of under discussion of this summit. That includes the school feeding program, includes not only the meals twice of a day, but also educational materials that students are in need of these products. The first intervention area is the school feeding. The second is the school agriculture. So we have very vast schools with untouchable land area, and as a result, we used to pass the area without having any purpose in a school. So we restructured the system and reform our education. Then ample amount of arable land has been considered as an input for school feeding, and created as well the job opportunity for parents of the student. And parents of student at the same time, they were hired as a catering system of the school meal. The student will have a double advantage there. they fed from their mother, they get raw material from their mother, they pass their time in the school with their mothers. Therefore, it is psychological and social security area. Then school become now an area of where livelihood is secured in area where especially the low income residence area. So not only this, our system is education system is especially primary and primary are free and obligatory. This means that the government has a responsibility and an obligation to avail for the student the basic education and other equipment and the foods that forced our students to be dropped out from the school and low survival of the student in the school. Not only this, less attention were there at the end of because before the intervention of the school reform program. So after having the school feeding program, the performance of a student has drastically changed. And their attention to remain the school is also become high and highly motivated. And at the same time, the school dropout and absenteeism become zero. We can conclude like this. Therefore, it's really helpful and impactful for improving school leadership and the school. The qualities of education has been, drastically changed in our city. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much again for taking the leadership and how you have been able exploiting, let's say, the education reform. We discussed about the deep connection among education and the school meals also in the previous panel. So let's now move to the city of Montpellier with the Deputy Mayor Marie Massart. I would like to ask you how you have been able to support the local economy through school canteens, providing healthier and also organic meals to your children. Thank you.
Alors, merci. Donc les villes ont un pouvoir important pour agir sur les politiques alimentaires, soit de manière directe, soit de manière indirecte. Et les politiques publiques qu'elles mettent en œuvre répondent à la fois à des enjeux environnementaux, des enjeux sociaux, des enjeux de santé, des enjeux éducatifs, économiques et de conditions animales. Alors les objectifs politiques qu'on s'est fixés à Montpellier pour l'alimentation scolaire, c'est tout d'abord de rendre accessible une alimentation saine, de qualité et durable pour le plus grand nombre. Et pour ça, ça passe par une tarification sociale, par exemple, en fonction des revenus, et aussi une grande variété de menus qui vont être proposés. Par exemple, nous proposons des menus sans viande, des menus sans porc et des menus végétariens. Nous avons aussi des objectifs donc pour déterminer la qualité, c'est des produits essentiellement bio, des produits locaux, des produits faits maison pour l'essentiel, des produits qui limitent les aliments ultra transformés, qui limitent les produits d'origine animaux et les produits issus d'élevage intensif. Alors nous nous sommes fixés à Montpellier un objectif d'atteindre 100% de produits bio et ou locaux d'ici 2026. On aimerait bien les deux, mais sur le territoire, c'est pas possible. Actuellement, nous sommes à 52% de produits bio et ou locaux, donc 42% de produits bio exclusivement. Et nous progressons progressivement. Un deuxième objectif qu'on s'est fixé, c'est de faire évoluer les comportements alimentaires dans les familles, en intégrant véritablement l'enfant à son territoire pour faire évoluer les comportements alimentaires. Donc aujourd'hui à Montpellier, donc je l'ai dit sur la part de bio, nous avons également une option quotidienne végétarienne, donc ceux qui veulent manger végétarien tous les jours, c'est possible. Nous faisons 6 repas végétariens par mois pour tous les enfants, dont 2 sans aucune protéine animale. Donc c'est aussi une vertu d'exemplarité pour montrer qu'il est possible de manger différemment et d'avoir un impact réduit sur notre environnement et de tenir compte aussi de la condition animale. Alors nous avons aussi développé de nombreuses actions pédagogiques, par exemple des ateliers de sensibilisation dans les écoles, de sensibilisation au goût, où on fait fabriquer des menus par les enfants. Nous avons aussi mis en œuvre un livret pédagogique pour apprendre les métiers de l'agriculture. avec une remise de diplôme pour valoriser auprès des enfants. Nous avons développé des potagers dans les écoles. Nous avons mis en place un spectacle ludique et pédagogique autour de l'alimentation. Et nous faisons intervenir aussi des producteurs dans les écoles où nous emmenons les enfants aussi dans les producteurs. Et nous prévoyons aussi de donner des cours de cuisine aux enfants. Ça, c'est pas encore, mais on aura un camion cuisine pédagogique qui ira dans les écoles pour donner des cours de cuisine aux enfants directement dans les écoles en lien avec les enseignants. Alors le levier de la restauration scolaire, il est important pour structurer les filières locales et puis pour favoriser l'installation aussi d'ateliers de transformation alimentaire, parce qu'on pense souvent à la production, mais la transformation, elle est très importante aussi pour pouvoir avoir tout le circuit de l'alimentation qui reste sur le territoire. Nous, ville de Montpellier, c'est 15 000 repas par jour. Donc c'est 5 à 7 tonnes de marchandises qui arrivent tous les jours, donc ça représente un volume important. Et nous avons embarqué avec nous dans des réunions de structuration des filières d'autres gros acheteurs publics comme les hôpitaux, le Crous pour les étudiants, mais aussi les collèges et les lycées, et ça représente à nous tous 80 000 repas par jour. Donc ça nous permet vraiment collectivement de travailler avec les producteurs, avec les filières locales pour véritablement les structurer. Alors pour aller un peu plus loin sur comment nous faisons pour structurer ces filières locales, il faut savoir qu'en France et en Europe d'ailleurs, nous avons une réglementation européenne qui ne nous permettent pas dans les marchés publics de préciser qu'on veut de l'achat local, ce qui est pour l'alimentation un peu gênant. Alors nous avons d'autres manières par les marchés publics d'avoir de l'alimentation locale. Nous avons une politique donc offensive d'achat public. Nous faisons du sourcing, c'est-à-dire que nous allons voir les producteurs, les transformateurs, nous travaillons avec eux au quotidien pour qu'ils puissent fournir les cantines scolaires. Nous accompagnons certaines entreprises comme une légumerie sur Montpellier. Nous avons découpé nos appels d'offres en petits lots. Nous avons 103 lots à Montpellier pour que les petits producteurs puissent répondre à nos appels d'offres. Et nous avons des critères de qualité importants puisque dans nos appels d'offres, nous avons 80% sur la qualité et 20% seulement sur le prix. Donc nous n'allons pas chercher les produits les moins chers possibles, mais les produits qui ont le plus de qualité possible. Et nous avons aussi augmenté notre budget alimentaire, même si nous souffrons comme tout le monde de l'inflation. Nous avons en plus de ça augmenté les budgets pour augmenter notre part de bio dans les produits que nous distribuons dans les cantines. Donc voilà très rapidement, et je tenais vraiment à vous remercier aussi pour l'initiative, et vous pouvez véritablement compter sur Montpellier pour continuer à travailler sur ces questions-là. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you so much, Deputy Mayor, for your support. Congratulations for what you have achieved. We have just heard other, let's say, important aspect on how city can have an impact. I would like to know now from again from the Vice Mayor of Milan, because you mentioned that Milan is a very long tradition of school meal services. In your previous speech, you talk about the Milan Pact and the initiative. So I just would like to ask you about the different excellence aspect of the service. If you have to choose one, what would it be? If you can stay in 2 minutes, thank you.
Yes, thank you. I have a lot of things to do, but it will be hours of discussion, so I choose just one. The school meals in the environment. Thank you. Also because we have measured and we have an assessment of this impact. And I think it's very important that because in some way we had the chance to go beyond the goal. The goal was to reduce CO2 equivalent emission by 25% by 2030, starting from a baseline measurement in 2015, acting on procurement. So you have to choose what kind of a food to buy and to prepare. And analysis in 2021, so 9 years we can work alone, stated that we have more than 42% decrease in CO2 equivalent emissions. So a very important statement, and also Montpellier underlined the importance of this activity. And I think that this is great to a very important partnership we had with the World Resource Institute through something called cool food pledge. And so food system and food policy goes to school, and I think that it's another important goal that we can share together with our governments. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vice Mayor. This is also another important impact of our, when we decide what to buy and what to give to our children. So this is also another aspect that we would like to put at the service of cities interested to understand how you have achieved this. Unfortunately, there's not much enough time for the second round of questions. I'm sorry, but you have already, let's say, gave us many insight from this first round. So thank you for sharing with us these super successful stories. We saw how through different models, levers, approaches, strengths, and also challenges, mayors have been able to provide healthy and nutritious food in their schools. It's not coincidence that we have these cities here represented. They have distinguished themselves to have won in the last 3-4 years a Milan Pact Award in 2019, in 2022. Thank you for being part of this first cohort of champion mayors, and thank you for supporting this new initiative. As I mentioned, more than half of signatory cities of the Milan Pact manage directly or indirectly school feeding programs. So we have also many more good stories to share. We have cities that want to improve and to learn, and also we have cities that want to start to kick off their service for the first time. So that's why the Milan Urban Food Policy Pact partnered with the School Meal Coalition to develop this city-led initiative able to respond to these needs. As the Vice Mayor announced, Cities Feeding the Future initiative will feature 4 pillars. The first one is championing, and we had a very good experience today together. So through the creation of this cohort of champion mayors, we will share good examples and disseminate practices for interest cities. Then number 2, capacity building. So we will support cities with the specific learning needs to start and scale their school feeding programs. Third, advocacy. We will advocate the international food agenda about the importance of school feeding programs and the role of cities in it. And at the same time, we will organize national dialogues in order to connect cities that are managing school feeding programs and their governments. And lastly, research. So we will reinforce the consensus around school feeding through the publication of literature and evidence-based research through the experience of cities. Of course, with these activities, we will work in strong relation with the School Meal Coalition Secretariat, which I thank you very much for having organized this very important today, together with the hosting country, France. We will work together with the Research Consortium, the Sustainable Finance Initiative, and the Data and Monitoring Initiative. So it will be 3 years of really intense work, I think. But I'm sure that we can count on the support of our extraordinary community. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure listening to you intently. And what is fantastic is to see the determination of municipalities, of cities. I'm going home with a story from Nairobi that I'm going to tell for a long time. And what I've heard about Copenhagen is something that I'll keep as well. And if I do meet a mayor from another city, I'll tell them the story of how that is working. And your inspiration from Milan, taking this forward, just as a personal point, my daughter is a big fan of the city of Milan. So there's something I'm taking home as well from today, is that I have seen the deputy mayor of Milan, and then I know that they are working on things which are very useful for the future of the world. And Montpellier, des idées, des innovations, des choses qui vont changer, pas simplement la façon que les enfants se nourrissent à l'école, mais aussi la planète. Et c'est très important ce que vous avez partagé avec nous aujourd'hui. Donc, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. Addis-Ababa, we heard from what you said, from what the mayor said yesterday, and today we could feel it even more, how it happens practically. Thank you so much, and we'll be grateful if you can move out of the stage from this direction. It allows us to move to the next.